a place of improvement in our economic life, a place of improvement in our trading life, a place of improvement in our supply of water, a place of improvement in our construction of roads, a place of improvement in our common destiny as a nation in terms of security. And if this is the description, it means that changing the parts of this particular engine every day is what we have chosen to do, rather than getting a new engine in the true sense of the word. And this is where some of us have our doubts about this issue of amendment of the Constitution in the true sense of the word. And another question I have asked is, why do we always wait until the election period comes nearer before we begin to raise these questions? Why is it that the same people who did not believe in the sanctity of even the 1999 Constitution, as you people have mentioned in line with what Professor Aduba has said, why is it that the same people who believe in 16 was greater than 19 still talk about the issue of justice today? Why do we have the same people who have benefited from the contraption that we have created for ourselves over the years? When they were in power, they never talk about these things. But when they are out of power, they talk about these things. Why do we have them? Why do we have governors of the Southeast who do not believe in a common agitation for improvement of quality of lives of the man in the fringes of Biafra today? Why do we have them not believing in that particular movement when they are in power? But when they are out of power, they continue to support it. It means that something is wrong somewhere. It means that politicians are playing tricks on us. And if they are playing tricks on us, where is our collective destiny in all these things we're talking about? And I mentioned this, Kanayo will confirm this. And he called me the following day and said, look, Apampe, you asked a fundamental question, that if Nigerians have lived, though this marriage of inconvenience, for over 100 years together, and we have produced 36 children together, and we have produced 774 grandchildren together as a country, living in that marriage of inconvenience. Because again, the 1913 law that brought in the 1914 amalgamation, lawyers are listening to me now. They may confirm this. That particular law, from that particular period, if you see the design of that particular law, it is meant to ensure that there was a relationship that is typified by the African nuclear family between a husband and a wife. One is to behave like the wife, the other is to behave like the husband. Why are we not discussing these issues in our history books? Why are we not telling our younger generation today? Now, if we have lived together, married together for over 100 years since 1914, a marriage of inconvenience, produced 36 children, produced 774 grandchildren, 36 children being the 36 states, 774 grandchildren being the 774 local governments in Nigeria. Is divorce an option in 2021? Quite okay. Some people out there will say, yes, look, Apampe, divorce is an option. Because you will go back and ask the question that was asked in 1957. Was Nigeria wedded or welded? Was the Southern and Northern Protectorate wedded or welded? Were we wedded or welded in the Greater Declaration in Zungeru in Niger State, which today has turned into a theater of war in Nigeria? Were we wedded or welded? If we were wedded, it means that we were married. And if we were married, was it a marriage of inconvenience or an arranged marriage by the colonial government?
Or there was an agreement.
Or there was an agreement. And really,
or Auren leader.
Or Auren leader. Or Auren Mangfiu, as our people will say. So if that is the situation and the reality today, then you must also ask yourself the fundamental question. If we were wedded, and we have been together for over 100 years in that marriage of inconvenience, and we have produced this number of people, is divorce an option? If divorce is not an option, how do we make that marriage better? This is the fundamental question that we must be able to ask. How do we improve on it? But if we were wedded in the Greater Zungeru Declaration of 1914, then we must also ask ourselves, a metal that is welded, I'm not a welder, but welders know out there, has its own lifespan. One day it is certainly going to break. But if it is going to break, how is it going to break? Is it going to break and fall on the man in the house? Or that the man will clearly take it to a place where he will ensure that it's dismembered? These are fundamental questions. So when you say, where did we come from? These are the things that we must talk about it today. And this is what our younger generation should be able to know. What we see about the killings in Southeast, what we see about the killings in Owerri. I have used that Sam Mbakwe International Airport on 2 different occasions. Now, I know that the distance from Sam Mbakwe International Airport, for example, to Nekede, where I went on 2 occasions, I can tell you the state of the road from that particular point to the other point, where, for instance, the late Gulak was killed. Are we a nation that care about our people? Even in places where these so-called VIPs go, they don't even take their time to ensure that there's security there, in the true sense of it. And every Nigerian today is shouting that the nation is not well, particularly the elite, because one of them was taken down. Every day we have lives being sniffed out of
ordinary. Even in Niger State yesterday, 15 people were killed.
15 people.
In Niger State.
And I said it, Bello Lukman, where is the governor of Niger State? It was reported that the governor of Niger State has traveled out of Niger State.
And look at the ridiculous reason he's giving. Yes. That is going to look for solution. To the incessant problem of insecurity in Niger State abroad.
This is quite unfortunate.
And he is not the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
And I have said that this madness about consulting the mosquito on how to solve malaria sickness must end. We have the solutions with us. And I said on this platform that we must all march to Kuje prison to go and apologize to Chief Joshua Chibi Darie, the Kawun Mushere. Not because he's in prison, but because he lost his seat as governor of Plateau State under state of emergency on issues that today the same government would have declared a state of emergency in those states.
And maybe even worse.
Even worse. A country where, for example, just about 22 million people take away 90% of our total revenue. You have mentioned it here with recurrent expenditure. It is short of saying that you would have put it in figures for us to see. And then about 180 million Nigerians do not have access to these things. And we sit down here every day, we lambast ourselves, we talk about these things. The same politicians who have dragged us into this kind of situation are the ones that are sitting and calling for conferences. Yesterday we had Pandef. Yesterday we had the representatives of Middle Belt. Yesterday we had the representatives of Ohanese. Yesterday we had the representations of the Yorubas meeting in Abuja. Afenifere. And we had elder statesmen who have benefited from this same system sitting down to give us a destiny.
Some of them, I have them saying, I was in Abacha's constitutional conference. I was also in the 2014 constitutional conference. And yet they are still the ones that are still deliberating today.
And you ask a fundamental question, where is the future of this country? And people will tell you that it is youth o'clock. If it is youth o'clock, what are the youths doing? Now you have these meetings in the sitting of the Senate here in Jos. Here in Jos, you had the Nolge protested when their own spokesperson was going to speak.
Yes.
Where is the democracy that we are talking about? Where is the freedom of expression we are talking about? When the Igbos raise their voice and say we want to sit at home to mount our people, those who understand the reality about the ideology behind it, the whole country said, no, that cannot happen. When the Hausas decide to take their own destiny by ensuring that they protect themselves through these agencies that have come up, including vigilantes, what do we tell them? They are against us. So the mutual suspicion between us, this us and them concept, must be killed.
When Amotekun came up,
yes,
we had all sorts of dissenting voices
from
even areas that are not even connected to even the Southwest.
Conrad, let me ask you this question before we open the phone lines. By the way, listeners, this is Unity Radio, #1 social, political, and current affairs program on radio. You can start sending your comments, questions, and contributions to our text message line 0703-764-5447. 0703-764-5447. On Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you can do same at Unity Radio FM TV. If you want to speak with us live in the studio, the number to call is 0703-235-3315. Don't forget our ground rules: name calling, stereotyping, hate speech will not be tolerated. You can go ahead and make your contributions responsibly. Let me ask Comrade this question as we open the phone lines. Right. Yesterday we mentioned it in the course of the newspaper segment. Are we gradually marching towards the final doom of Nigeria?
Well, every doom is expected if you don't manage your time. You can't take that away. You remember the research group at the time that said by 2015 Nigeria will be normal. And we said, no, our God is a God of mercy, and he has allowed us to continue. If you don't manage, even you as Andrew, if you don't manage your life, there's a day of doom. But what are we afraid of? Are we afraid of death? Are we afraid of the day of doom? Are we afraid of the day of coming out of the tunnel to see the sunshine? Certainly no. We're afraid about the destiny. And what destiny? The destiny after death. And that is a fundamental thing. So if you must ask the question, we have also seen that if you go to, for example, Chobe Junction, that is Nigeria staring at you in the face. That is Nigeria. If you go to Nasarawa, that is Nigeria staring you in the face. If you go to Angwanrimi, that is Nigeria staring you in the face. Anywhere you go, is Nigeria staring you in the face? I don't want to raise blood pressures, but when Chelsea played against Manchester City, in the true sense of it, people who gathered to watch the matches, that is Nigeria staring at you in the face. It has no connotation for Igbo or Hausa or Fulani. People were there shouting in their own languages when the goal finally came through. For those who were in support of that particular team.
From Mount.
When Wiki Tories played Rivers United, Bauchi and Rivers. That is Nigeria staring you in the face. When NYSC students, listen to me, COP members, we call them coppers in this part of the world. When you leave and you go to 3 weeks orientation camp and they say, under the rain, under the sun, you will what? You will serve your nation. It is simply telling you that the man who is leaving a place of rain is coming to a place of sunshine in the north to serve. A man who has left a place of sunshine is going to a place of the Sahel River mangrove to go and serve. So under the rain, under the sun, you are to what? Serve your nation. That is all we get about us. What about our leaders? Do they serve us under the sun? Do they serve us under the rain? The answer is no. They serve us under the umbrella, and they also serve us under the broom. This is where these leaders serve us.
Under air condition. Yeah,
under air condition. This is where they serve us. And they have become our masters. I like what happened on Saturday with the civil engagement. Even though some of us were not even invited. When we saw government officials on 29 talking to themselves about their scorecard in a town hall meeting to themselves. But we also saw somebody convening a discussion about 2023, bringing different shades of opinion to discuss the road to 2023. I'm talking about Samson Omale, if I'm not mistaken. He's the convener of that particular event. And you ask yourself, how cheap is talk? Talk is cheaper than not acting. And that is where we are today.
All right. Thank you very much.